Hello, sports fans. It is Wednesday, May the 1st, the year 2013, and as usual, a lot to get to in the sports world, so let's get it going right now. We're going to do our Major League Baseball State of the Union in a couple of minutes. Before we do that, let's go through some scores of note from last night, and let me say that I am still sick. Whatever I have is just awful. I mean, my nose is bothering me, my stomach's bothering me, I got a headache, no appetite at all. I feel absolutely awful for the third day in a row, so I am struggling. So May is starting the way April ended for me. I feel awful today. By the way, it's hard to believe we're already in May, by the way, but we are. Today is May the 1st. Hard to believe. Anyway, let's go through some scores of note from last night. Let's start with the NBA playoffs, where the Denver Nuggets stay alive. They beat the Golden State Warriors. Golden State still up 3-2 as they go back to Golden State. Denver controlled this game from start to finish. They came out really strong. Denver really took control of this game. Curry did not have one of his better games for Golden State, so Denver gets the win last night. They stay alive. They're still down 3-2. Golden State still has the big advantage. They go back to Golden State for Game 6. Also last night, Memphis beat the Clippers in LA. How about Memphis? The Clippers were up 2-0 in this series. Memphis has won 3 straight games. Memphis up 3-2. They go back to Memphis, where Memphis hopes to close it out. Did you ever think Memphis was going to win 3 in a row in this series? I did not see this coming at all. And even bigger news, Blake Griffin leaves the game yesterday with a high ankle sprain. They say he sprained his ankle on Monday in practice. He leaves the game early last night. Doesn't play well at all. He's day-to-day. The Clippers are in real trouble here. They need a healthy Blake Griffin. I mean, they need a healthy Blake Griffin, and give Memphis all sorts of credit. Memphis plays really good defense, one of the better defensive teams in the league. Marc Gasol wins Defensive Player of the Year. Memphis plays good, solid defense, and give them a lot of credit coming back in this series. They were down 2-0, and they did not give up, and now they've won 3 in a row. Tremendous job by Memphis. And remember, Memphis traded away Rudy Gay this year, and when they did, you thought, Memphis is going to struggle from this point on. They've actually played better without Rudy Gay, so give Memphis a ton of credit. They go back to Memphis to try and close it out. I did not see this coming at all. So that was kind of some of your doings in the NBA last night. As far as your NHL playoffs, which got underway last night, the Chicago Blackhawks in overtime beat Minnesota, so they go up 1-0. St. Louis beat L.A. in overtime. They go up 1-0. Expect that St. Louis-L.A. game to be just like last night. 2-1 somebody, a lot of overtime games, very low-scoring game. So St. Louis wins last night. They go up 1-0. And Anaheim beat Detroit last night. Anaheim goes up 1-0. I've been saying it all year. This is not a vintage Detroit team. I've seen vintage Detroit teams. This is not a vintage Red Wing team. So Anaheim gets the win last night. Over to your Major League Baseball last night. Yankees come back and beat Houston after they had dropped the first game in the series to the Astros. Cleveland beat Philadelphia. Toronto finally got a win and they beat Boston. Detroit beat Minnesota. Atlanta continues to beat Washington, beats Washington again. So Atlanta playing really good ball. Washington really struggling, and they can't beat Atlanta this year. Miami beat the Mets. The Mets are starting to go the wrong way. Texas beats the White Sox. San Diego beats the Cubs at Wrigley Field. Kansas City beat Tampa Bay. Milwaukee beats Pittsburgh again. Pittsburgh cannot beat Milwaukee at Milwaukee. St. Louis beats Cincinnati. Another well-pitched game by a Cardinal pitcher. San Francisco beats Arizona. Oakland beats the Angels. I'll tell you what is going on with the Angels. I mean, they are really struggling. Baltimore beats Seattle, and the Dodgers beat Colorado. So that was kind of some of your doings with Major League Baseball last night. Okay, without further ado, let's get to our weekly Major League Baseball State of the Union. I'm going to go through the divisions with you, records, little synopsis of each team. It's still very early in the baseball season. Let's start in the American League. Let's start with the American League East. Right now in last place in the American League East, the Toronto Blue Jays, they are 10-17. They lost 6 games last week by a total of 8 runs, and they have a brutal May schedule. I'll tell you, it's getting late early for the Blue Jays. I thought the Blue Jays were a little overrated coming into this season. I mean, now they don't have Reyes for a while, who's injured. Toronto looks like they are really in big trouble. Encarnacion is starting to swing a hot bat. He's got about 9 home runs. I mean, Toronto will hit home runs, but my goodness, they are struggling 10-17 in a brutal May schedule. They are in trouble because this is not an easy division. Toronto in major trouble, has to have a nice month of May. Number 4 in the American League East, the Tampa Bay Rays. They are 12-14. Matt Moore looks great. We know they can pitch. Good manager. Can they hit? Other than Longoria, can anyone hit on that team? Number 3 in the East, Baltimore Orioles, 16-11. Nate McLouth looking good so far this year. Baltimore's done a really nice job. They had a nice year last year. They're doing it again this year. Number 2, the Yankees. They're 16-10. They're holding the fort. The Yankees are holding the fort right now until they get all these guys off the disabled list. Right now, you can't complain at all about the way the Yankees are playing. 16-10 with all those guys out. Nice job by the Yankees. And number 1, the Boston Red Sox. 18-8, 7-3 last week. Tough road trip coming up this week. Boston, very surprising they're this good. I did not think they'd be this good. They are. They're pitching very well. Good defense. Ortiz back. Boston doing a really nice job. So they're first place right now in the American League East. Over to your American League Central. Last place, the Chicago White Sox. They're 10-15. 15 of the next 18 on the road. I don't like what I see at all from the White Sox. Number 4, the Cleveland Indians. They're 11-13. Does any team have more rainouts than Cleveland? It seems like they're always their games are always rained out or they're in a rain delay. Them in Minnesota always seem to be in like rainouts or rain delays or snow delays. Cleveland's had a bunch of rainouts this year. I like the manager for Cleveland. They got a long way to go, though. Number 3, Minnesota. They're 11-12. I mean, there's not very many high expectations for Minnesota this year. I mean, they're going to be at best a 500 team. I think they're even a little below that. You can't expect much from this Minnesota team. Number 2, Kansas City. They're 14-10. Jeremy Guthrie has gone 16 starts without a loss. That's impressive. Kansas City looks like an improved team this year. I like what I see early from them. And number 1, the Detroit Tigers. They are 15-10, 5-1 last week, and they swept the Atlanta Braves. Detroit, to me, is the class of this division. They should win this division. I mean, you got Verlander, you got Fielder, you got Cabrera. Detroit is the best team in this division. They should win it. Over to your American League West. In last place, the Houston Astros. They are 8-19. Here's a stat for you. Against Seattle, they're 4-2 this year. Against everyone else, they're 3-16. Here's another stat. 5.51 earned run average. That's the worst in all of baseball. It's going to be a long year for the Astros. Number 4, the Angels, 9-17. Best batting average in the American League, but lead the league with runners left on base. They can't get a big hit. I mean, what is going on with the Angels? Plus, their pitching hasn't been great. You know, Weave has been hurt. You wonder if Mike Scioscia's on the hot seat. Mike Scioscia, who I think is a tremendous manager, you wonder if he is on the hot seat. I mean, 9-17, that's an awful record with this lineup. I mean, you got Pujols, you got Hamilton, you got Trumbo. I mean, the list goes on and on. Trout, 9-17. You wonder if Scioscia's on the hot seat. Number 3, Seattle, 12-17. What else is new? They can't score. Seattle cannot score at all. They can pitch, they just cannot score. Number 2, Oakland, they're 16-12. I'll tell you, this Cespedes is a good player. He is a good player. I saw him launch a home run at the Coliseum the other day. He is a really nice player. I like Oakland's team. Number 1, Texas, they're 17-9. Rookie pitcher Nick Tepesch, 2.53 earned run average. Texas, to me, is still a playoff team even without Josh Hamilton. So that's where you are early in the American League this year. As far as your National League, in the National League East, let's start with the last place team in the East, the Miami Marlins. They are 8-19. They're scoring less than 3 runs per game. I mean, that's not going to get it done. Yeah, they can beat the Mets, but can they beat anybody else? It's going to be a long year for Miami. Going to be a lot of empty seats down there in that new ballpark. Stanton now on the DL for about 3 weeks. That's not a good sign either. Number 4, the Mets, they're 10-15. The Mets are on a complete free fall. They were 9-8. Now they're 10-15. They can't even beat Miami. We didn't think the Mets were going to be any good. They could be even worse than we thought. Number 3, the Phillies, 12-15. They did sweep the Mets, but they're still 3 games under 500. I mean, the Phillies, they got to get going here. I mean, you got Lee, you got Hamels, you got Holiday, you got Howard, you got Utley. I mean, I don't know. The Phillies, 12-15. I mean, they still got some talent on that team. It's a very tough division, though. I won't rule them out, but I don't like what I see overall from the Phillies this year. Number 2, Washington, they're 13-14. They did beat the Reds 3-4, but is there a more disappointing team early in the year than Washington? 13-14. I mean, Washington, I thought they'd be one of the best teams in baseball. Now it's still early. I still think they're going to make the playoffs. I still think they're going to have a good team, but 13-14, not a good start at all for the Washington Nationals, and they can't beat the Braves either. Speaking of the Braves are first in the National League East. They are 17-9. They did get swept by Detroit. Hayward is on the DL, but overall you can't complain about it. Atlanta 17-9. Upton's been great. I really like Atlanta's team. Over to the Central we go. Last place, the Chicago Cubs. They're 10-16. Rizzo looks like a good home run hitter, but Chicago needs all kinds of work. Major rebuilding job here for Theo Epstein. Number 4, the Cincinnati Reds. They're 15-13. Cueto will be back soon. Rookie Tony Cingreri looks lights out. I think Cincinnati's better than 15-13. Still got to get Bruce going a little bit. He hasn't been hitting that many home runs so far. I think Cincinnati's going to be there in the end, though. Number 3, Pittsburgh, 15-12. Very good start. Bullpen so far has been good. McCutchen with a home run last night, although he has been struggling with the bat. Nice job by Pittsburgh overall at 15-12. Number 2, Milwaukee, they're 14-11. Carlos Gomez, very good again. He was good last year. He's good this year. Milwaukee has Pittsburgh's number. I mean, they beat Pittsburgh every time they play him, especially at Milwaukee. Number 1, St. Louis, they are 15-11. Their starting pitching has been very, very good. Their bullpen's a little shaky. Cardinals pitching has done a tremendous job, though. And remember, the Cardinals don't have Carpenter this year. I mean, they lost for Carl. Freese was on the DL. Cardinals doing a really nice job. I love what their pitching's done this year. Over to your National League West we go. Last place, the San Diego Padres. They're 10-16. They did sweep San Francisco for the first time since 2010. I still think San Diego is going to be in last place the whole year in this division. Number 4, the Dodgers. They're 13-13. Beckett, very, very shaky. Beckett's better days are behind him. Greinke's still out. Billingsley done for the year. Still a lot of concerns for the Dodgers. H. Ramirez did come back. He did hit a home run. That's a good sign. You'd like to see Matt Kemp get a little more home run happy. I mean, Kemp only has 1 home run so far this year. Like to see him hit a few more home runs. Andre Ethier, the same thing. Dodgers got to pick up their play. Number 3, San Francisco, 15-12, giving up way too many home runs. We love their pitching staff, but their pitching has given up way too many home runs this year for the Giants. Number 2, Arizona, they're 15-12 as well. They won 3 extra inning games last week. I like Arizona, what they've done. I like their manager. They have some good, decent young players like Goldschmidt. Arizona doing a nice job at 15-12 so far. And number 1, Colorado. They are 16-11. They were 2-5 last week. Tulowitzki hurt again. We'll see if he goes on the DL. Right now they're listing him as day-to-day. Overall, nice job by Colorado. You know they can hit. They've been pitching well. Right now, first place in the NL West. You can't complain. So that's kind of where you are early in the season in the American League and the National League. We're going to do a bunch of these State of the Unions. We got a long way to go for baseball. I mean, a long way to go till October. So that's kind of where you are early in the baseball season. As far as tonight, Wednesday, what to watch as far as your NBA, you got 3 big playoff games. You got Atlanta at Indiana. That series is tied 2-2. I would expect Indiana at home to take care of business tonight. You have Houston and Oklahoma City at Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City up 3-1. I expect Oklahoma City to close them out tonight. And you have the Celtics at the Knicks tonight. Knicks up 3-1. I would expect the Knicks to close it out at Madison Square Garden as well. So that's kind of where you are in the NBA. As far as your NHL playoffs tonight, you got Toronto at Boston. You have San Jose at Vancouver. And you have the Islanders at Pittsburgh. We'll keep an eye on Crosby. Looks like he's a game-time decision. Not sure if he's going to play. There's a chance he plays. There's a chance he's not. We'll keep an eye on that. And, of course, you got all your Major League Baseball tonight. Okay, so you guys, you are all caught up. Thanks for bearing with me. I am really struggling, really under the weather. Hopefully I'll be better very, very soon. As far as tomorrow, we're going to preview the Mayweather-Guerrero fight. Friday, we're going to do the Kentucky Derby. Believe it or not, the Kentucky Derby is only 3 days away. They'll announce the post-draws tonight as well, I believe at 5 o'clock Eastern Time, so you might want to keep an eye on that as well. You guys, thanks for the support. Thanks for tuning in. You guys, stay safe. Enjoy the games tonight. You got 3 big NBA playoff games, 3 big NHL playoff games, and you got your Major League Baseball. So enjoy the games tonight. I will talk to you guys tomorrow, Thursday. Take care.